the interventions, colleagues, on the ECD resourcing, would want to appraise you that the early childhood is a very important sphere of education currently now in the DPE, and which is expected to provide a quality outcome precisely for grade 12 and other grades. You will remember that we have been saying this for the past 3 years, that grade 12 results are grade R results. You don't get grade R right, grade 1 right, you will find high school teachers sleeping in schools. So there must be a paradigm shift on how we manage the curriculum and the execution thereof of the primary schooling system, so that you are able to make sure that there is synergized ecosystem of development of learners from grade R to grade 12, and also the reintroduction of the grade 9 certificate by the then minister is coming handy on this particular question. Otherwise, if awuyenzi loo nto, uzoba nootitshala base-high school abalala ezikolweni, uzoba nootitshala base-high school abahlala ezikolweni nge-holiday, uzoba nootitshala base-high school abahlala ezikolweni afternoon, uzoba nootitshala base-high school abahlala ezikolweni ngee-weekends. That is an abnormality. In terms of law, those educators are appointed for 7 hours. Nothing more, nothing less. So the results you see are results that comes out of an extreme sacrifice of these officials and educators. The system cannot produce those results currently. So that's why I'm then saying we need to be systemic in dealing with the pandemic that makes high school educators to sleep in schools, using the primary schooling system as a benchmarker to that, and correct whatever tragedy that is there that has been wrong or right in one way or another. You will remember Ecdoe, that one of the weaknesses that we have done, colleagues, was to abandon the annual assessment in the primary schooling system. I didn't which one. Yeah, you wrong, Orlando. You're wrong, Orlando. You're wrong, Nanini, because you can't have an industry that do not know whether the product is right or not right. Napai Baker, see a test by Songa Gastotokov. Napai Baker, see a test in Chama, be right now. Lows of back, we ask minus Kukula, Songa, Abone, Dobana. I saw Stan as a song and is since why you are. So you can't have a system that benchmarks on grade 12. From grade R to grade 12, there is no uncertainty about whether are we capable of producing what we're supposed to be producing. So the reintroduction of the grade 9 certificate by the then minister is a matter that must be welcomed. And then we must move away from the pilot on that one and nationalize it, so that all grade 9s in this country must go for GETC, so that you are sure that the primary schooling system is exactly what is supposed to be. The kids that are migrating to higher education in terms of the FET band are the ones that are expected to be. So that's why I'm then saying this matter of stabilizing the ECD education is a critical question. The delivery of the learner support material also is a critical one on this particular matter. Alignment of school readiness goals and literacy and numeracy and life skill is a critical one in the ECD. And lastly, our main driver will be to ensure that there is a mass advocacy for the registration of the ECD centers, beyond the ones that we have collected from the social development. Because remember, this is a function that is coming from social development. it has to be redefined when it arrives here. An ECD Center of Social Development can't be an ECD Center of Department of Education. We need to redefine here in terms of content, in terms of methodology, in terms of infrastructure, and in terms of any policy discourse that could be dealt at that particular level. Colleagues, in terms of the GETC, I've already indicated, and we will share the notes with you, except to say we are currently developing curriculum implementation monitoring tools for grade 1 to grade 7 schools, and also that to mediate in term 1 and of 2025 academic year. So that implementation tool has been developed so that we can be able to mediate for the next first term of 2024. We have revised the reading strategy also to develop the public ordinary schools as the 2025 has to start. I would leave you on that with an understanding that you have been part of our briefing notes on this one. But critically, which is also a matter that I think is gonna be a thorn in the flesh of 2025, is the reintroduction of the mother tongue bilingual education in the country on grade 4 in all provinces. Remember, Tina Moses is grade 12 blood, but the country is in grade 4. Now, I'm then saying, what is gonna be a matter which is going to be a thorn in the flesh are the matters that are at the pillar Act. Because once you talk language policy in the country, you must understand language as a determinant for social relations. It's not an academic matter in your language. Iyakuxelela ngubani onemali apha ngubani ongenayo. Kutheni ucinga bafana bafuna ukuzosikhumshela ngokungekho mlungu apha? Uthi uzosikhumshela nasemgidini. Kutheni lento amatye wabantu abaswelekileyo funeka ebhalwe ngesingesi? Kubani luthetha naye? Uthetha nabani? So the language is not just about the cognitive development of the learners, but a reflection of the power relations within the society. How institutionalized are they? Umzekelo, sipha kula team i-assessa abantwana on maths and science in the country. Sitting in Morocco, other countries are not there in the African continent. Sipha teams. Again, in the teams, the debate in the continental and national platform is whether the structure itself of teams and peers is right. When you say the developing countries are producing kids that are unable to read and write, from a language point of view, whom are you referring to? Wena xa sinothi bhala isiXhosa ulijama uyi-German citizen ungasibhala. Wena xa sinothi wena ungumlungu waseBritane izobhala isimpondo imaths yesimpondo ungasibhala wena. Wena ungasibhala. So I'm saying that there is a need of a serious discussion about whether our strategy internationally is not underestimated in terms of the language policies that the continents are producing. For example, in the African continent, we identified ourselves in terms of Anglo-African or Franco-African after 30 years as South Africans. Naxa usiya kweza nhlanganiso bazibizayo pha uMutsipe zebhola uzofika ubona ba aba indlela abacinga ngayo indlela aba balaba abantu babe ba controller ngokucinga. So I'm saying the language issue is a serious political matter than being an academic matter. Hence, my argument to you is, for that matter, mathematics colleagues, go and research. It's an African product, by the way. Maths originated in Egypt. Anyone who's doing maths in this planet has taken it from the African continent. So the debate about whether are we going to be employable when we use African languages on maths is not there. Because the ones that have taken maths and institutionalized it by hiking, so it's a matter that I think I must lift it up, because the report is misleading. It's saying kids cannot read and write. Bazawubhala ntoni abantwana kwi-language that is not theirs at that particular age? Remember, grade R to grade 3, kids are doing mother tongue bilingual, mother tongue education. Uba umntana uzalwa eMakoloni wenza isiXhosa, between grade R and grade 3 ufunda i-subjects zakhe ngantoni ngelanguage kamama wakhe, then atranslate xa esiya ku-grade 4. Then ihlabathi lifuna uassessa lo mntana utranslator kulo nyaka ku-grade 4. Andaba niyandivana? Ngu-grade 4 lo kutestwa kuye. Lo mntana izolo ebesenza ezi-subjects ngesiXhosa okanye ngesiZulu okanye ngesiMandarin. Now today funeka testiwe in another language, a foreign language. Why? Because this foreign language is dominant in the international and continental space. Now, I'm then saying it's a matter that those that are occupying that particular space must be able to clarify us and move with speed on that. Before I land, my colleagues, the department has developed an e-library for us to be able to deal with the deployment of the Microsoft SharePoint, so that we can be able to develop a dynamic and efficient platform to serve comprehensively the matters that have been raised by the citizenry of the province. We've been dealing with this matter so that at least kune accessibility between those that we serve and the institution. But equally, on that one, also we have issued a broadcasting studios as part of that strategy, so that kids can be able to benefit out of that. Also, we have succeeded in connecting, Joseph, the 2,000 schools that we promised the people of the province with in terms of the ICT strategy. So we are busy working on the 800 now plus extra, so that you can be able to make sure that at least you have closed the divide between the communities. On the learner admissions, colleagues, the learner admission process has been finalized, and also we are at the stage of admitting. Currently, we are at 1.7 million learners currently. But there are areas of concern which we needed to have a closer look on because of the migration patterns. Your Nelson Mandela area, your Buffalo City, Sarah Batman, and Joe Gabi in particular, Alwa North. The reason is economically, not educational, is economically. when kuqala unyaka abantu bafuna uyofuna imisebenzi, xa beyofuna imisebenzi bamuva nabantwana babo, and xa bemuva nabantwana babo bayajeopardize i-admission policy yethu, because thina si-admit abantwana apha between October and end of November. We close the admissions in terms of the policy. But because we are a caring government, we have to be a bit flexible. When they come back in January, those that might have not got the space, we will have to reopen up that matter and deal with them. So I'm saying those are the areas that also need an attention from us. In terms of the school funding norms, colleagues, we are at 100% now, a breakthrough. Because once you don't fund schools in terms of the school funding norms, you have killed them. Because remember, these are Section 21 schools. So you need to inject capacity financially to them to be able to execute their own task. So we are funding them now at 100% currently. And I'm told that the trench has been done in October. So akho sikolo apha eprovinsini esifanele basithi ngoJanuwari asikhoredi. Why? Because imali yabo bayinikiwe kaJanuwari ngo-October. So that i-systems zabo can move with speed and be able. In terms of the school nutrition program, colleagues, I'm trying to be a bit fast. We are currently serving 1.6 million kids. Sisuka ku 246 learners in the past 4 years. Now, sisuke pha ku 603 to 246 learners in the past 3 years. Now, 1.6 million learners that are receiving both breakfast and lunch. In reason, yoba, it is becoming clearer now that the majority of the citizens of this country are living below the poverty lines. And therefore, even your systems of governance must be able to respond to that. So that's why we reintroduced the breakfast meal. Because akukho guarantee into yobana ebetyile lo before alale. And akukho guarantee into yobana ebetyile uvuka kwakhe before aze apha. Now, as government then cushioned that by bringing a breakfast meal, so that whatever happened either during the night or in the morning, government can cushion it up by a breakfast meal. But also, before amke esikolweni, phinda umvale ngento etyiwayo for the lunch, ukwenzela into yoba in case kube kwi-crisis wabo, at least can sustain himself or herself. So we are trying by all means to probably align ourselves with that particular task ahead of us, colleagues.